450?
It's $450 and $150 for the case. It's $150 for the case. It's $450.
Oh, so you put a case on it?
It's
So $500. $600 for it to do one thing.
Shit.
But that's why you got
Nah, I'm
make,
good.
Yeah, that's
Nah,
why
I'm
you
good.
got to make
No,
it
no,
cheaper.
Yeah. Hold on.
But
So,
look,
wait.
Here's the thing, but yet people still buy $1,000 iPhones.
Right,
it's
because
the same iPhone.
No, they
It's the same iPhone.
They don't
bro.
buy it. They lease it.
Yeah, but they still pay.
They can't afford that.
I
shit.
Brother, they're getting their $1,000 out of something.
That's
The same technology
and if
from the
they're-
previous year.
And if they're leasing it, they're making more than $1,000. Yeah. What's the difference between $1,000 today and $1,000 in a year? Maybe $400 depending on the interest rates.
That's real.
They're still paying
That's
it. You
real.
think they're not paying $1,000? They're
That's
paying
real.
way more.
For
Companies aren't
That's
stupid.
real.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Charge your ass in the phone bill.
You go to AT&T and think you got a free phone. Fuck. Yeah.
Or they're like, if you bring in your old, we'll take the price off of the that one and add it to the other one.
Yeah, you thought.
I'm dead. All right, let's get to the comments. Taeyong's Tatas got a. Oof. All right, let's get into this. There is no money to be made with efficiency. It was never about making people's lives better. It was only about making money off of people's lives.
Okay, yeah.
So rather than making something that can just last longer, they simply make new things so that you can pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Every
New product.
Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Every new product is simply a means to make fast cash.
Of course. If they cared
about the buyer, they wouldn't have stopped adding charger bricks.
Yeah.
I feel that. That's true. Like they're making AirPods wireless simply so when you lose them, you have to replace them.
Yep.
Now you're paying for strings to add to your AirPods when they could have just made regular headphones. If people's batteries never died and they were efficient and charged, how would they sell you the newest phone model? There's a reason older people keep their older cars because they were made different. That's true as shit. I will say that. They were built different. They were built to last. Different, and they were made to last now. And you have a 5-year lifespan on your car. $450 isn't affordable at all, especially to charge your phone. Absolutely not. Nah, absolutely not. If it's also been proven that in America, it is cheaper to buy a brand new phone on lease than it is to buy a refurbished phone in full.
Just like vehicles. On top of that, remember the battery in your car. It costs a lot more now because they're using more technology.
Now, do you think that's what the future is going to be? We're just going to be on leases?
No, I don't think that, because here's the thing. These things
Transition
are
back.
so you gotta remember. Whenever you buy a product, you're also investing in a company. You know what I mean? So eventually, these things are going to be cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and it's going to be cost efficient.
Right.
And it's going to be better.
It's exponential, right?
So
Gotcha.
you gotta remember, people buy. I mean, okay.
Could you give us an example of something that started off really expensive and through people investing into it, it's cheap? Just
Solar panel.
No, I wouldn't even say so. I'll say something even more like the first computer. First computer was a fucking brick, and it was obviously
millions of dollars.
It was the first computer was a fucking brick, and it did nothing now what the computers of today do. You know what I'm saying? I can buy a computer for about $200 to maybe $1,000 and be straight. Back in the days, those same computers was like 10 grand. They had, I think the first phones, cell phones. You can say cell phones.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about today, because obviously you can't do a 10-year lapse. You can't do a 50-year lapse.
Because things change.
You have to go back to those original things.
The original idea of the concept.
CD players.
I get you.
CD players was bricks. CD players came from record players, and then it downgraded, and then they was able
8 tracks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The cassette tapes, whatever. You gotta remember, every concept is going to brew
a new idea.
Not new ideas. Now I'm talking about people. It's
Okay.
gonna. And I want to say fans, but I don't want to say fans. I want to say communities.
Okay.
Something online.
Like
communities.
investors or
It's not even just investors. It's people that want to take the chance and try it.
I got you.
Just Apple headphones. You think nobody will buy Apple headphones? Shit's $1,000, but I see people with them shits on every day at the gym.
Now, is that just brand? Like,
It's
Bro,
the name. It's
Apple,
the name.
Apple.
that's what I'm saying. Because it's like
Vision Pro. The Vision Pro. You think, oh man, no one's gonna buy that, but there's people buying that, and as they buy it, they're investing it, and the company's gonna be like, okay, well, people have interest in it. We're gonna keep working on projects to even better it, and eventually, yes, I know that this toaster costs a lot of money, but this is the first one.
So okay, I have a counter example to what
Go ahead.
The PS5.
I mean,
the PS5.
That's not a counter example because that's the fifth one.
Yeah,
this is the first one.
Absolutely abysmal. Like for what its price point is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's literally 90% plastic,
and it's almost $1,000.
Right, it's 90% plastic. And do you understand? It's almost $1,000, and I can build a PC 10 times better than that thing.
You can't say that because I'm pretty sure PS5 holds about 2 terabytes, right? Can it hold 2 terabytes? Can you buy models that hold 2 terabytes?
Okay, but memory storage has nothing with processing power, graphics.
But back in it, I'm talking about from the first.
Oh, like the first.
You have to fucking put a block in.
Brick.
No,
okay, but I'm comparing it to...
But you're comparing the 5th to the 4th. You can't really do that.
No, I'm not comparing the 5th to the 4th. I'm comparing the 5th to what I can get at the same price point.
But you're not doing the 5th to the 1. You're not doing PS5.
No, okay, but if we're talking about fair,
I'm talking about one, and I'm talking about the whatever
within
newest
the same
to the oldest model, because you got to remember every price point.
But not everything.
Similar.
Okay, but not everything is in a vacuum. You see what I'm saying? Like if I'm looking at a $600 PS5, and I'm getting better games on a $300 Switch.
You're forgetting about first off, you're jumping off to
No.
I thought you were gonna say the PlayStation 1 was like $300. You gotta keep it into the same.
Okay, so how are we looking at this?
So think about it like this. First off, the PS5 costs what? $1,000 maybe?
When it first launched because of scalping, but it's 600. 600.
Yeah. The PS1 costs what?
$299.
$299. It was cheap.
It's cheap. Yeah. Well, guess what? Inflation. It's the same price.
Nah, you can't do that.
No, you can't. Inflation goes up by 90%.
Yeah, if you adjust for inflation, yeah.
Inflation gone up by 90% in the last 12 years. Yeah. 90%. So actually, that PS1 back in those days when people only had about $5 in their pockets, they'll still be able to go out and buy a full basket
So we can
of
say
food.
Inflation. What's the source of inflation? The corporate greed.
No, source of inflation is
corporate greed.
Nope. The source of inflation is fraud and money. We already
corporate
talked about
greed.
That.
Okay.
No, the printing of money, the too much money into the economy has caused inflation. There's only one reason for inflation, and that's because the federal government printed out too much money and they took away the gold standard of backing the dollar.
Okay, so government bailout, is that not corporate greed?
No.
Housing market bailout, is that not corporate greed?
No, because it's not corporate. Because you also have damage. Like you have Hurricane Katrina and California wildfires that they have to print money. They didn't print that money out because it was corporate greed, but they still printed that money. You have the COVID. What do you think COVID? How do you think we survived the COVID?
Okay,
they made money out of thin air and gave us like $1,200 each.
Federal spending is
federal is money. Federal is money. There's no other.
No. Like federal spending on whatchamacallit,
it's only federal
aid.
Yeah.
Yes. So federal spending on aid is what?
Okay, money in general is federal. That's why it has federal on it.
No, okay, I understand.
But federal anything.
Okay, so just spending on aid.
Student anything.
That's what drove inflation.
I think aid is obviously going to drove inflation because there's no
product?
No, not product. It's another P word. There's no profit. There's no profit off of spending money on disasters, but they got to do it. Mm-hmm. So because there's no profit, mind you, think about it like this: the federal government really only wants to be a bank. Okay, they just want to be a bank where they loan out money and they get interest on it. So that way they can make money, and whatever they get on interest is just like an insurance company. You pay insurance companies pretty much to cover you, and you don't really do anything. But when something happens, they have money in the bank to cover that policy. But when everybody gets the fucking disaster and wants insurance, they get bankrupt. So unlike insurance companies, they can't print money, but federal governments can. And when they do print money to cover they're everybody, trying to get money. Right. It causes inflation, which is why everything goes up.
Okay, so prime example, right?
Go ahead.
When we had the pandemic checks, how much corporate fraud was done with pandemic checks?
That's true.
how much bank fraud was done with all these.
What was it?
It
What was it
always
called?
comes down to because like right.
No.
What was it called when they?
PPP.
What was
PPP
the PPP loans?
loans,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
PPP.
yeah. How many of them got arrested? They all almost.
PPP.
Yeah, but here's
a lot of these
Okay.
yachts
and
But
yeah.
believe it or not, the money that they gave us for the PPP loans was not a lot of money, bro. I mean, how much they gave us? 30 billion.
right.
I'm talking about trillions of dollars, bro. They're moving around trillions. And you know how much 30 billion is to trillion?
They basically
Nothing.
threw the regulars under
Think
the
about
Let's
bus.
look
think-
at this
think
because
about-
I'll say I would say
Actually,
we're still
look at how much money
sure.
they did for COVID. Was it what
sure.
30 billion? Maybe 100 billion?